Today's edition, we are going to deal with economics. And economics, we are going to be solving past questions. We are going to solve 2013 May-June Wassce. And we are starting with the data response. Alright, so now join me on the board as I explain the data response for 2013 May-June Wassce. So we are going to start with the question number 1 of the May-June 2013 Wassce question, economics. So I read the question. The output and the cost of production of rice, into bracket in bags, are presented in the table below. Use the information in the table to answer the question that follows. And so this is the question. We have output. So this is the question. So the A, we are going to start with the A. A says that we should find for the average fixed cost. The average fixed cost at output 0, 2, and 4. That is what we are going to do. Average fixed cost of output 0, 2, and 4. So we start looking for the average fixed cost of output 0 first. When they give you a question like this, you look for the average fixed cost of the output 0. When you are done, you come and pick the output 2, you look for it. When you are done as well, you come and pick the output 4 and you solve for it. And so let us pick the output 0 and we deal with it first. So at average fixed cost of output 0 will be that first, you should give the formula for finding average fixed cost. And the formula for finding average fixed cost is total fixed cost all over what? Quantity. Sorry, all over quantity. And so since we are dealing with average fixed cost of output 0, we are going to get total fixed cost of output 0 divided by quantity of output 0. When you get here, it's very simple. What you have to do is to follow what we are doing. And so now let's go to the next point. Looking at the question, there is no total fixed cost in the question. And so don't get confused. We are going to first look for the total fixed cost in the question. And that is how it is. Total fixed cost is the same as total cost of output 0. Total fixed cost is the same as total cost of output 0. This is so because at output 0, it means that there has not been or there has not been any production. And if there is no production, you will not have any cost. But look at here, we are going to have a fixed cost because fixed costs are the cost of a fixed product or fixed input. And so fixed inputs are the input which does not change during production process. And so we can have some of the fixed inputs can be like building, it can be like machines. Why machines and building do not change? Because after first production, the machines you use to produce the first production will not change when you are dealing with the second production. And so all these things at output 0, we think that you have gotten all the fixed input. And so at output 0, your total fixed cost will be equal to your total cost. What is our total cost of output 0? When you come here, you see our total cost of output 0 to be 7. This is the output. And this is your total cost. So total cost of output 0 is equal to what? 7. And so our total fixed cost will be equal to what? 7. Now bear in mind, total fixed cost do not change. And so if total fixed cost of output 0 is 7, total fixed cost for output 1 will be the same as 7. Total fixed cost of output 2 will be the same as 7. Why? Because it does not change when we are in production process or during production process. It does not change. So it's still fixed. That's why it's called total fixed cost. And now bear in mind we are dealing with short run. And so short run, at least some of the input will be fixed and some will be variable. So let's get on to the board. Now, since we have our total fixed cost to be 7, it is so simple for us to solve this question. And so we have it A and C will be equal to total fixed cost of output 0 is going to be what? 7 divided by what? 0. And any number divided by 0, it cannot be fine. And so we normally put dash there. It's always called dash, or it can be when you punch on the calculator, it will give you math error. And so we put dash there. So we are done with average fixed cost of output 0. So we are done with the A and C of output 0. Now we are moving on to A and C of output 2. Then I told you that total fixed cost do not change. So if total fixed cost of output 0 is 7, total fixed cost for output 2 will still be the same as 7. And so I told you that the formula is total fixed cost. Since we are dealing with average fixed cost of output 2, you are going to get total fixed cost of output 2 divided by the quantity of 2. I hope you are getting what I'm saying. Alright, so what's our total fixed cost of output 2? It's the same as what? 7. And our quantity also will be the same as what? 2. Total fixed cost is the same as 7 and quantity will be what? 2. And so we are going to get 7 divided by 2. And our answer is going to be 3.5. And this will be your answer for the average fixed cost of output 2. Now let's go to average fixed cost of output 4. Average fixed cost of output 4 is going to be total fixed cost of output 4 divided by quantity of 4. And I told you that total fixed cost do not change. It's still the same. So what will be our total fixed cost of output 4? It's still going to be 7. And our quantity will be now what? 4. So 7 divided by 4 is going to give you 1.75. And so this one will give you your average fixed cost for output 4. So we are done with A. Now let's go to B. Let's go to B. The B is saying that if the price of a bag of rice were $10, calculate the profit or loss at all level of output. Calculate the profit or loss at all level of what? Output. And so the profit, the formula for finding profits is equal to total revenue minus total cost. Profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost. And so when I say profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost, this total revenue is the amount of money you get after selling a commodity. That is total revenue. Amount of money you get after selling a commodity. And total cost is the expenditure you incur after producing a commodity. And so when you take your cost from the money you have gotten, you are going to get your profit. I hope you are following what I'm saying. When you subtract your cost from the money you have gotten, you are going to get your profit. And so now, when doing the question, we have been given total cost, but you can see that there is no total revenue. So what are we going to do? We have to find for our total revenue. And so our total revenue, the formula is price times quantity. So if you want to know the amount of money you will get after selling a commodity, you multiply your price by your quantity. Let me give you an example before we go to the question. So let's say I have 10 oranges and each orange costs 2 cedis. How much am I going to get after selling the 10 oranges? It's going to be 10 times 2, which will give you what? 20. And so this 10 is your quantity and this 2 is your price. So when you multiply your quantity by your price, you are going to get your what? Total revenue. And so for us to get our total revenue, they have given us the price, which is 10 Ghana cedis. The price is called to what? 10 Ghana cedis. Our P is equal to 10 cedis. And so they are saying that we should find for total revenue for all level of output. So before you find for the all level of output, you should get your total revenue first. And so our total revenue for output 1 is equal to price, which is 10, times quantity, which is what? 1. So we are getting 10 times 1 is what? 10. Now, total revenue of output 2 will equal to 10 times 2, which you are getting what? 20. Total revenue for output 3, which is going to be 10 times what? 3, which you are going to get 30. Total revenue for output 4 will equal to 10 times 4, which will give you what? 40. And so we have gotten our total revenue. So it's going to be easy for us to find for our profits. If you are going to incur profit or incur what? Loss. And so our profit, let's take the output 1. So our profit for output 1 is going to be total revenue of output 1 minus total cost of what? Output 1. And so our profit is going, what is our total revenue of output 1? It is here, it's 10. So we are getting 10 minus, what is our total cost for output 1? It's equal to 7. So 7. So the answer is 3. Which means our profit for output 1 is equal to what? 3. Now let's move on to profit for output 2. It's going to be what? 20. So total revenue for output 2 minus total cost of output 2. Which you are going to get profit of output 2 is equal to total revenue of output 2 is given here by 20 minus what is our total cost of output 2 is 12 minus 12. And so we are getting our profit of output 2 to be what? 8. So now we move on to profit for output 3, which is going to be total revenue for output 3 minus total cost of output 3. So our profit for output 3 is equal to total revenue for output 3 is here 30 minus our total cost for output 3 is 40. And so 30 minus 40 is going to give us what? 16. We are going to do for the last one, which is our profit is equal to, of 4 is equal to total revenue of output 4 minus total cost of output 4. So our profit of 4 is going to be, total revenue of 4 is 40. Then our total cost of 4 is equal to 27. So now we are going to look for total revenue of output 0. So we start from total revenue of output 0. And our total revenue, we know our price already to be what? 10. It was given to us in the question. And so 10 times what? 0. And what are we going to get? 0. So our answer is going to what? 0. Now let's go to total revenue of output 1. Total revenue of output 1, we know our price already to be what? 10. And our quantity, since we are dealing with total revenue of output 1, our quantity will be what? 1. So we are getting 10 times 1 will be what? 10. Now our total revenue for output 2 will the same be as 10 times 2, which we are getting what? 20. And our total revenue of output 3 is going to be 10 times what? 3, which we are getting what? 30. And our total revenue for output 4 is going to be 10 times 4, which we are getting what? 40. So now we have gotten for our total revenue, and we are done with our total revenue. So we are moving on to find for either we are incurring profit or what? Loss. And so our first one, our profit, which have the total revenue minus total cost. So profit of output 0 is going to be total revenue minus total cost. So our output 0, total revenue is what? 0. Minus, what is our total cost of output 0? Our formula for profit will be equal to total revenue minus total cost. Now bear in mind, if you solve this and get a negative answer, it's now turned into loss. It's no more what? Profit, but it's rather what? Loss. And when you get a positive answer, you are going to get profit. Normal circumstance, our loss formula is equal to total cost minus total revenue. When you do this, you are going to get a positive answer there. But we want to do away with this, but focus on the profit aspect. And so when you solve your profit and you get a negative answer, you are going to get a loss. I hope you are getting what I'm saying. And so our profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost. And so let's start with output 0. Because the question said that we should find for profit for all level of output. And so profit of output 0 will give you total revenue of output 0 minus total cost of what? Output 0. And so our profit for output 0, what is our total revenue of output 0? We got it here to what? 0 minus our total cost of output 0 is 7. And so we are getting negative 7 here. Now this negative 7 means that producer incurred loss. The producer incurred loss of what? Negative 7. And so that's why we got what? Negative 7. So now this one is not profit, but it's rather what? Loss. Okay, let's go to profit of output 1. Profit of output 1. We are getting total revenue of output 1 minus total cost of output 1. So what is our total revenue for output 1? Our total revenue for output 1 is, you can find out, is 10. And our total cost for output for output 1 is equal to minus what? 12. And you are still getting a loss here. You are still getting a loss because you are going to get a negative answer. So 10 minus 12 will give you what? Minus 2. And so the producer also incurred loss at this point. Okay. Now let's go to profit of output 2. So it's going to be total revenue of output 2 minus total cost of what? Output 2. Now total revenue for output 2 is given to us by what? 20. And our total cost for output 2 is now what? 14. So at this point, we are getting a positive answer. So if you are getting a positive answer, your answer is going to be what? Yeah. So 20 minus 14 is going to give what? 6. Now bear in mind, the first one we had a negative answer which gave us loss. Second one we had a negative answer which gave us loss. But the third one is giving us a positive answer which is giving us what? A profit. And so we are getting a profit of what? 6. Now let's go to profit of what? Output 3. We are going to get total revenue of output 3 minus total cost of output 3. So our profit of output 3 is going to be, what's our total revenue for output 3? It is here. It's 30. So we are getting 30 minus, what is our total cost of output 3? It's going to be 17 minus 17. And so 30 minus 17 is going to give us what? 13. And this one too is giving us what? A profit, because the answer is now positive. Now let's go to the last one, which is a 4, which is a profit of 4, is going to be total revenue of 4 minus total cost of what? 4. So we are getting P of 4 is equal to, what is the total revenue of 4? Total revenue of 4 is now what? 40 minus the total cost of 4 is going to give us what? 27. And so our profit is going to what? 13. So we are done with the profit aspect now. So now this first out to 0, we are going to get incur loss. Out to 2, we are going to incur loss. And now out to 3, out to 2, we are getting a profit. Out to 3, we are getting a profit. And out to 4, we are getting a profit. We are done with the finding for average fixed cost for out to 0, 2, and 4. Then we are going to find for marginal cost. The next person is saying that we should find for marginal cost for output 0, 2, and what? 4. That's what you're going to look at. Output 2, output 0, and output what? 4. So now you're going to deal with marginal cost of output what? 0. Now marginal cost for output 0, the formula will be change in total cost divided by change in quantity. So this one can be written as TC. Now we are dealing with marginal cost of output 0. So TC0 minus TC of the one we don't know. So we tend to it to be what? Infinity. Because we don't know the next word. All over quantity of 0 minus quantity of the number which is after 0, before 0, we don't know. So we change by what? Infinity. So what's our total cost of 0? Our total cost of 0 is 7 minus something we don't know, right? Divided by 0 minus something what we don't know. So 7 minus something we don't know, we still don't know. So the answer is going to what? Dash. Because we don't know what is going to give us. So we determine or we put dash there, which is going to be very simple. Now let's go to, we are done with the output 0. Now let's go to output 2. So marginal cost of output 2, we're going to be changing total cost all over changing what? Quantity. And so it's going to be MC2 is going to be TC2 minus TC1 all over Q2 minus Q1. And so we are going to find out what is our TC2. Our TC2 here is going to give you 14. And our TC1 here is going to give you minus 12. All over. What is our Q2? Our Q2 is going to be 2 minus Q1 is what? 1. And so 14 minus 12 is going to give what? 2. All over what? 1. And so your marginal cost is going to be what? 2. So this is marginal cost for output what? 2. Now let's come to marginal cost of output 4, which is the last one for the marginal cost. The marginal cost for output 1 is going to be change in total cost all over change in what? Quantity. And so it's going to be TC, now we are dealing with 4, so it's going to be TC4 minus TC of what? 3. All over Q of 4 minus Q of what? 3. And so we are getting, what is our TC of 4? Our TC of 4 is going to be 27 minus, what's our TC of 3? Our TC of 3 is going to be what? 17. All over our Q of 4 is going to be 4 minus what? 3. So our 27 minus 17 is going to give us 10 divided by what? 1. And so the answer is going to be what? 10. So our marginal cost, our marginal cost of output what? 4 is going to be what? 10.